So, in regards to military spending and defense spending, I believe that it's extremely important that we have protection for our country, for our homeland, for our people. But do we spend maybe a little too much on our military? Probably. There's some other ways that we could allocate those resources. But like I said, homeland security and keeping people safe is national security is extremely important. Could we allocate those resources to education, to welfare programs, to healthcare? Maybe a little bit better. But as far as I'm concerned, I think we're doing a decent job.
So my name's Sergeant Coffin with the Marines, and in my opinion, I think it is important to spend money on the military. While I do think that spending right now on military doesn't have to be as much currently, I think that the military is an important way to protect us all, but at the same time, even having some kind of money divided to some other sort of incomes like education and such things is very important as well. So I think there is a healthy balance between spending for military and spending for other things, and I think it's up to the politicians to decide what that balance is, and ultimately for them to decide where they want to put the country's money.
I believe that the funding that the military gets is sufficient, but I think that the manufacturers that we use rip us off. I worked with the B-1 bomber, and there was a screw that was $683, and it was just a normal size screw, and the next size to it was $3. But we've challenged it and stuff, and that's what the manufacturer charged for it. So I think they need to hold those people accountable that are ripping us off, and then the funding would go farther.
Yeah, that's a great question. Really, I talked AP government for a long time, and one of the things that we studied was that the defense budget for the United States, when you added together, I think the top 10 to 15 other countries' budgets, it didn't even total what the United States spent on their military. So there's a lot of deep, rooted history behind why we spend so much money on it. Obviously, it's one of those things where if you do cut it, what happens to our status in the world? Are we still able to maintain our status in the world and what we're doing? So it all comes down to policy. It comes down to our approach, and then obviously, if you divert that money somewhere else, where are we going to spend it? I think in the United States, there's a lot of opportunities to increase spending and education, especially, and training and job training, trying to get our folks what they need to make our country a better place to live. So I don't necessarily have an opinion about too much or not enough. I do say that we spend a lot, and if we did divert that money, it would be to something else. We could hopefully improve our domestic program.
I think our military needs to be funded more because I think we need to be protected
The
and
United
safe.
States military doesn't spend enough money, and the reason behind it, as you well see now, is the Russia invading Ukraine and all the other hot spots. Now we're sending people to Somalia, soldiers. The world is changing, and in order to keep up with modern technology against China and Russia, we need to get more advanced missiles like supersonic missiles, laser-driven type missile or laser-driven type.
I think that government is underfunded. The more money that you can put towards the military, the better off our country will be. Example of Russia and Ukraine. If Ukraine had more funding and more military and more access, they would not be in the position that they are in now. So yes, fund the military.